It began, as so many unsettling truths do, with an ordinary family Christmas. My mother, in her usual holiday ritual, brought out the old photo albums, proudly presenting them to my fiancé, Lucas. He was quiet, observant, the kind of man who could make a living just by noticing things. I'd brought him to anchor me, perhaps, but the joke, it seemed, was on me. The dinner itself was a familiar tableau: tight-lipped smiles, forced conversation. My sister Nina, swirling wine, draped in something beige and expensive. Her boyfriend nodding enthusiastically. My parents, radiating a brittle sincerity. The roast was dry, the sangria sharp. Mom inquired about Nina's new job. Dad asked Lucas about computers, as if millennials were a newly discovered species. No one asked me anything, which was standard. I used to be bothered, now I just counted the minutes until I became invisible. This year, it was 9. After dessert, Mom enacted her annual performance. I brought the albums out, she announced, as if it were a spontaneous surprise, not a meticulously planned event. She always brought them, always feigned finding them under a pile of dish towels, and we all played along, pretending these stained pages weren't etched into our collective memory. Nina leaned in, rapt as if watching an awards show. Her boyfriend adopted his best interested face. Lucas sat beside me silent, his attention drawn more to me than the yellowing pictures. The first album, birthdays, beach trips, awkward school photos. The second, Nina as a baby, Mom glowing, Dad proud. Then came the third, me. That's when Lucas changed. Not a word, but his posture stiffened, his eyes narrowed, the subtle tells of a man who sees flaws in pixels and now in life. He squinted at one page, then another, tilting his head with the precision he used to spot a bad crop in a photograph. He was scanning, measuring. Without a glance at me, his hand found mine under the table. "Don't you see it?" he whispered, his voice taut. I blinked. "See what? How can you not see it?" Then, just as quickly, he dropped my hand and returned to flipping pages, smiling, nodding at Mom's commentary about me trying to feed a pine cone to a stray cat. I sat frozen, my ears ringing, a phantom chill seeping into my bones. My skin felt inside out. When I leaned in and asked him again, he shook his head slightly. "I'll explain later," he murmured. "Just go along with it." The emotional motto of my entire childhood, delivered in a whisper. We left shortly after, Lucas improvising an excuse about an early flight. Mom fussed. Dad didn't care. Nina remained glued to her phone. I kissed them goodbye, an unraveling not held together by sheer will. In the car, Lucas retrieved a few loose photos from his coat pocket, ones he'd discreetly taken from the stack. "Look," he said. I looked, my vision blurring at the edges. The first, me in a pink coat, standing against a stone wall. A familiar image, ingrained like bad wallpaper. "What?" I asked. "It's just a photo." He handed me 2 more. "Same face," he said. "Same angle, same smile, same shadows. Look closer." I looked. And then I saw it. It was me, the exact same version, copied and pasted into different settings. One by a fence, another on a swing set, one at a fountain. The expression never changed. Not a single muscle. "They reused my face," I whispered, my voice a strange rasp from the back of my throat. He nodded. Then another photo, a baby, pale, lighter hair, different bone structure. "That's not you," he said softly. "I don't think they ever had baby pictures of you." The last one, me, Mom, and Dad in front of an old building. My outline was fuzzy, the shadows didn't match. I looked like a sticker, poorly peeled and reattached. I stared at it, and then I laughed. Not a real laugh, but the sound of something breaking inside my head. "So, I'm a collage," I said. "That's fun." Lucas didn't laugh. "Why would they fake this?" I asked, though I didn't expect an answer. And he gave none. The police call, I now know, was inevitable, though I didn't dial until hours of chilling certainty had accumulated. Denial doesn't break all at once. It leaks, like an old pipe under the sink everyone tacitly agrees not to mention. You hear it, smell it, but you keep washing your hands and walking away. I stared at those photos all night. Lucas eventually fell asleep beside me, but I didn't move. I sat in bed, a child waiting for monsters to appear, except these monsters already had names, Mom and Dad. My face remained on the nightstand, pasted, duplicated, frozen in a preset expression I'd never truly worn. That baby still wasn't me. The lighting's still all wrong. And then it hit me. Not with a scream or a thunderclap of realization, but like a whisper I couldn't unhear. I had no idea where I came from. I mean that literally. I had no memories before I was 5. None. As a child, I thought it was normal, or at least explainable. My parents blamed it on the war. You were traumatized, they'd say. The brain protects itself. They said a lot of things, and I believed them because what was the alternative? Telling my second-grade teacher I thought I'd skipped toddlerhood? My earliest memory was of standing in a fluorescent-lit hallway in a new country, my mother telling me to smile at someone holding a clipboard. The immigration office. The buzzing lights, the cold, the feeling that everything was loud and wrong. I didn't understand English yet, but I understood the command in my mother's eyes. Perform. From there, life was as normal as it could be. A small apartment. School. My mom packed lunches like the other mothers, though her napkins were perfectly folded instead of adorned with notes. My dad read the paper as if it owed him money. They worked hard, provided what I needed. But love? That was something else. When Nina was born years later, the house's emotional temperature shifted overnight. Suddenly, there were baby books and camcorder footage, scrapbooks with glitter letters, birthday parties with coordinated themes, spa days, hugs, warmth. None of that had ever existed for me. With me, it was always, you're strong. You're independent. You never needed much. Which was just another way of saying, we didn't give you much. I used to tell myself it was because I was older, the first, and they were still figuring things out. But now I wasn't so sure. There were no aunts, no uncles, no cousins. No one ever visited from the old country. We never went back. My parents claimed everyone was gone, scattered by war. When I pressed about family, Dad would say it was complicated. Mom would change the subject. Then there was the Facebook message. I was 15. I walked into the kitchen and saw my mother staring at her laptop. A message in Serbian, a language I couldn't read then. A name I didn't recognize, a woman. Hearts in the message. My mother's face was blank. Then she deleted it, blocked the sender, closed the laptop. When I asked, she said spam. Spam doesn't make your hands shake. But I let it go, because I always let it go. I was diagnosed with PTSD at 17. Nightmares, panic attacks, a dull, ever-present fear, like waiting for a door to slam that never did. My therapist asked about the war. I said I didn't remember it. She said that was likely why. But now I knew. I wasn't scared of the war. I was scared of her. The memory didn't return in a lightning bolt, but in fragments. That night, as I sat at the kitchen table, staring at the photos Lucas had taken, one memory flickered to life, like a flashlight in a dark room. A woman, not the one who raised me, someone else. A softer face, dark eyes. She smelled of citrus. I was holding her hand. Then another woman, not the one who raised me. Softer voice, gentle hands. I was holding her hand. Then the woman I grew up calling Mom walked in. She was younger, smiling as if she'd just arrived. The first woman leaned down and said in Serbian, "This is your babysitter." That was the first time I met her. Another flash, I'm pulling on a coat, crying, saying, "I want mama." A hand on my shoulder, tight. "Don't say that again. If you talk about her, you disappear." The words, buried under years of being told to smile for the camera, finally surfaced. Then, the screaming. I was in a new, strange bed. My legs kicking, my chest burning. I was calling for her. The first woman, the one who smelled of citrus. And another voice. Cold. Enough. I don't know how long the panic lasted. Lucas found me on the kitchen floor, gasping, my palms flat against the tiles as if trying to hold onto the world. He tried to touch me, and I flinched. He sat beside me instead, silent. And somewhere in the middle of that, still on the floor, Breath caught, vision swimming. I reached for my phone and dialed 911. The operator answered. 911, what's your emergency? My chest was caving in. My mouth opened, but no sound came out. Lucas, still kneeling, placed a steadying hand on my back. Finally, I forced the words out. I've been kidnapped. A pause, sharper now. Ma'am, are you safe right now? I think so. I'm home. Is the person who took you with you now? No, it was a long time ago. I just remembered it. Another pause, then a shift in tone. Gentle, controlled. Okay, take a breath for me. You're not in danger right now. No, but it's real. I remember now. They weren't my parents. Lucas reached over and took the phone. Hi, this is her fiancé. She's having a panic attack. She's been uncovering some things. Childhood photos that look clearly edited, no birth records, weird inconsistencies. She just had a very vivid memory. She believes she was abducted when she was around 5. It would have happened 25 years ago outside the US. The operator remained calm. I understand. What's your location? Lucas gave our address. I'm going to log this as a welfare check and forward it to the department's investigative unit. You'll get a call from someone to follow up. If either of you feels unsafe in the meantime, don't wait. Call us back immediately. Lucas thanked her and hung up. I was still shaking, but the words, once a terrifying thought, were now spoken aloud, solidifying into reality. The following days blurred. I didn't sleep. I showered, changed clothes, folded laundry I didn't remember putting in. I emptied the dishwasher. Lucas hovered, made tea, watched me like fragile glassware in an earthquake. You should rest, he urged. I nodded, unmoving, expecting a knock, a burst through the door, the floor to fall out from under me. Instead, the apartment remained quiet, humming softly, indifferent to my internal turmoil. Then came the email, case file opened, pending contact from an assigned officer. Someone would be in touch. That was it. I showed Lucas. He read it twice, then just nodded. It's real now, he said. Real? As if it hadn't been real when I was curled on the kitchen floor, trying to remember if I'd ever actually had a mother. The knock came. 3 taps, measured, calm. I opened the door to see my mother holding a brown paper bag, as if delivering cookies. My father stood slightly behind her, hands in his coat pockets, face neutral. Can we come in? She asked, stepping forward. Lucas appeared beside me. I nodded slowly, letting them in. They sat on the couch like guests. My mother placed the bag on the coffee table. I brought some of that soup you like, she said. The carrot one from when you were sick that time. That time I was 8, and she told me to stop crying because I wasn't dying. That soup? Thanks, I said flatly. She smoothed her coat, looking around the apartment as if it might offer her a script. My father remained standing. We spoke to the police, she said finally. They said you filed a report. I did. She looked like she wanted to be offended but lacked the energy. You should have just come to us first. Would you have told me the truth? She paused, blinking. We didn't want to hurt you. Lucas spoke, his voice low. So, it's true. My father finally stepped forward. Yes, he said. You're not biologically ours. I exhaled through my nose. Not relief, just confirmation of a truth I already knew, but needed someone to articulate. My mother nodded. Your mother was young, very young. She couldn't take care of you. She begged us to take you with us. Begged. She wanted you to have a better life. We were leaving and she was staying behind. It was war. She knew what that meant. So where is she now? My mother folded her hands. We don't know. You never checked. It was complicated. Lucas crossed his arms. Why fake the photos? My father didn't flinch. We didn't want her to feel like she didn't belong. So you erased her real life and invented one? Lucas pressed. My mother's voice cracked. You were 5. You cried for her for weeks. It was awful. But you adjusted. You forgot. We thought it was better that way. You could have told me. And said what? She snapped. That we took you from your mother? That you had a life you'd never remember? You would have hated us. You think I don't? Silence. Then she pulled something from her bag. A photo. Me, maybe 6 years old, holding my father's hand. "This one's real," she said, as if that were supposed to fix everything. I didn't touch it. They stood. My father looked at Lucas, then at me. "We didn't steal you. We rescued you." I didn't answer. Neither did Lucas. And the worst part? For about 10 seconds, I almost believed them. "Tell me her name," I said, my voice steady despite the tremor in my hands. My mom blinked as if she didn't understand. My dad rubbed his face, his usual gesture of exhaustion at having to deal with me. "You were 5, she said. "Your memories, they aren't reliable. Try me." She shook her head. "We didn't want to hurt you." "You already did." They looked at each other. Then my father spoke the name, like a confession. Mara Petrovic. No address, no contact, just the name. When I asked for more, my mom said, "We lost touch." It was war. Right. And apparently, war also erases your ability to type a name into Google. Lucas and I began searching that night. My Serbian is passable for talking to elderly relatives about food, but online research is another story. Mara Petrovic. Not an uncommon name. A few dead ends, a florist in Novi Sad, a retired gym teacher in Belgrade. Then I clicked on a grainy Facebook profile. No smile, no filters, just a woman with dark hair pulled back, early 50s, faint lines around her eyes, and a face that made my stomach drop. I stared. Lucas leaned over. "She looks like you," he said. I shook my head slowly. "No, I look like her." It wasn't just a resemblance. It was the kind of similarity that makes you uncomfortable, the kind you don't see in the mirror until someone else points it out. Same jawline, same eyes, same expression when she wasn't trying to have one. She hadn't posted in months, but her About section listed a town in southern Serbia, the same one I'd heard once, in passing, when I was 10 and my mother had slipped up. We sent a message. Google Translate probably made it sound robotic, but Lucas checked it 3 times. I stared at the screen, willing it to answer. "Hello. I was given your name. I think I might be your daughter." Then we waited. She replied the next morning. One line, "Can we talk?" We set up a video call. I don't remember agreeing. Lucas did all the clicking. I just sat, wrapped in a blanket, feeling like I was about to meet someone from a dream I didn't know I'd had. Then her face appeared. Older than her profile photo, tired, but still her, still me. She didn't speak at first, just stared, her hand going to her mouth as if to hold something in. "I wasn't sure," she said finally. "But now that I see you." I wanted to say something, anything, but the words were stuck. "I've been looking for you for 25 years, she said, and then she spoke my name. It wasn't Isabel back then. It was Melina. I froze. Melina. It didn't sound familiar, but it felt right, like a shoe I hadn't worn in decades, but still fit. I blinked, trying to stay steady. "Did you give me up?" Her face broke. Not dramatically, not like in the movies, just a quiet collapse in her expression. Her mouth opened, then closed. "No," she said. "God, no." She looked off screen, as if needing to ground herself. Then she turned back. "You were 5. I had to leave you with someone I trusted, a neighbor, a friend, just for a couple of hours while I ran to the municipal office to finalize some papers. When I came back, you were gone." She took a breath. "They said she, your babysitter, left earlier, said you went with her, but you never came home." Her voice cracked. "We searched. I went to every police station, every camp. I posted flyers. I called shelters. Everyone said children get lost during war. But I knew you didn't get lost." She paused. "I just didn't know where to look." I sat very still. It was Lucas who asked, "Did you ever apply to leave?" She nodded. "I was approved for a resettlement program to the US. Families with children got priority. I had everything ready." She looked at me then. "But after you disappeared, they took me off the list. Not that I would have left without you." And then it hit me, harder than any memory ever had. That's why they took me. Why they needed me. Why they edited me into those photos like I was some final puzzle piece. They didn't take me because they loved me. They took me because I was their ticket out. We sat in silence. Her eyes were red. Mine probably were, too. Lucas didn't say anything, just sat next to me like he was trying to hold the edges of the room together. I never knew where you went, she said softly. I thought maybe someone took you over the border. I thought maybe you died. I didn't know what to hope for. What do you say to a woman who lost you? They changed my name, I said instead. Isabel, she nodded, as if the sound of it hurt. Melina was your grandmother's name. I don't know what I expected to feel. Rage? Relief? I felt hollow, like someone had reached inside and scooped everything out, but politely left the shell so I could continue functioning in public. Weeks later, Mara and I stood side by side at the precinct. She wore a navy coat. I brought the photos. The officer took our statements, asked questions I barely remember answering. My real mother unfolded a creased flyer from her purse, the original missing persons notice. My name, the first one printed beneath a grainy photo. Melina Petrovic, age 5, last seen wearing a red scarf. This is her, she told the officer. This is my daughter. And for the first time, someone else nodded. We pressed charges. I stopped pretending the past was something I owed to anyone but myself. The case didn't go to trial. She got a job at a bakery near our apartment. She says it reminds her of the one she worked at when she was 21, before everything happened. We're planning the wedding. She's on the guest list. She cried when she received the invitation. The people who raised me lost everything. And honestly, they built their entire life on a lie. So when it collapsed, I didn't feel guilty. I felt free. This journey taught me that truth, however painful, can ultimately set you free. What hidden truths have you uncovered in your own life? Share your thoughts below, and if this story resonated, consider subscribing to join our community for more compelling narratives.